Okay, so today, this is really right up my alley. This is the kind of thing that I actually come from a point of specialization when it comes to discuss. We're talking about Chad Focus, who is a rapper who was recently busted on federal $4 million on company credit cards, purchasing the kinds of things that rappers buy
Hop
when
in, hit
rappers
that
want to
like
pretend
button,
that
that
they're
follow
popular.
button.
Now,
We're gonna
I
start
run
the
into rappers
stream
like this all
soon.
the time,
Give me a
constantly,
minute.
whether
Gotta
it's on
do
the
something.
street, whether it's on stream, whatever. Dude will always come up to me and tell me he's the next big dude, next big thing on the scene. He shows me his Instagram. He's got like 100,000 followers. Maybe he's got 20, maybe he's got 30. He's got some degree of fake followers. And then, I start to dig in a little bit and I realize, oh, this is all fake. Well, this is a guy who took that basic jug that I'm sure there's probably people out there. I don't want to say the majority, but there's probably a lot of people out there watching this who this sounds at least a little bit familiar with. Let's be honest. How many of you out there have ever bought 10,000 fake followers? Because I will forever see people donating on my stream who have, 5 to 10,000 fake followers, maybe 20, maybe a little bit higher. But, they don't get totally out of whack, but they do buy, some degree of fake followers. I'm going to be honest with you. I never did it. One time as an experiment, like a million years ago, I did buy 10,000 views for a BMX video just because I was curious, and I'm actually glad that it didn't work. I was curious because I wanted to see how much, I think it was $10. I wanted to see how much I would make in ad revenue against that $10. And it was less than $10, which was good because if it was more than $10, then I would have had a scam on my hands and I probably would have had a tough decision to make. But anyway, enough about my frauding like a decade ago. Let's talk about this guy. And it wasn't a decade, but Chad Focus. So amongst the things that he did that are kind of mind-blowing was that he took out billboards, including ones in Times Square, that said, "I will teach you how to be rich." Now, basically, how I see it is that this guy, Chad, had two different personalities that he was trying to represent. He had the rapper side, Chad Focus, and then he had, like, his real life identity, Chad Arrington, which I'm not 100% sure that's his real legal name, but most likely. And so basically he had a job, and I'm not seeing the job anywhere in this article. I'm not actually seeing who he was scamming, but he had a job, and he basically came out with a jug where he had some company that was creating, fake invoices and expenses, so then he would be able to run up those charges on the company card, and then that company that he was in cahoots with would be able to basically make those charges look official as if they were coming from a legitimate source. Pretty classic scheme. I'm sure you've seen a movie or two like this over the years that was sort of based around a sort of similar technique. But, I mean, if you do this kind of thing, you're always going to get caught in the end, right? Because at the end of the day, people have accountants, people get audited, people audit their own accounts, and people are going to figure out that you're doing something like this. Now, the only thing that really makes this guy stand out, because this would be a pretty sort of standard case of fraud, if not for the fact that this guy was taking the money that he was scamming from his business that he worked at, and he was taking that money and faking an entire rap career. And if you were someone who was not paying a ton of attention, you could be excused for believing the bullshit that this guy was selling. So as discussed earlier in this article, it did say something about how he spent $65,000 on custom jewelry. So, I mean, that's an example of him going above and beyond what the average rapper out there is doing. Most of you guys are perfectly happy to go spend like $50 on some fake jewelry online or at the Goodwill or whatever. But yeah, it says right here, $4.1 million stolen on his employer's company credit cards, and there's some other good details in here. This is where it gets really good. Look, he bought fake YouTube views. Okay, fine, but he spent $100,000 on hats. Hats. He spent $100,000 on hats that said the word "focus" on them. So just focus. His name was Chad Focus, and he spent $100,000 on hats that just said the word focus. Okay, I've made hats. I'm going to be honest with you. A hat, like if you're going to sell a hat for like, $20 or $30, what are you spending to actually make the hat? I'm going to guess, maybe he's probably not going with the best quality or whatever. Let's say between $5 and $10 for the hats. that he's then going to sell at an actual normal retail of like $20 to $30. $100,000 on hats? Like, what did he need 10,000 hats on for? What was he going to do with 10,000 hats? Assuming they were $10. That's a lot for anyone, especially somebody with a rap career. Although I suppose, like in his mind, oh, this is a global brand. I can represent this brand to people all over the world because everybody needs to focus. According to them, his plans weren't just limited to rap. He allegedly spent thousands of dollars on hoverboards and even spent tens of thousands more to create a bike share company. Now, what I will say is that spending thousands of dollars on hoverboards actually is a rapper thing. Like, that's a rapper thing. There was a period of time, I'm not sure everybody remembers it, but there was a period in time in which you basically were not a rapper unless you had a hoverboard. Now, a hoverboard is just kind of a regular thing. You might just see somebody with a hoverboard. You don't see them very often, but if you do see someone, it is by all means not a sign that they are a rapper these days. But there was a time period where you pretty much had to have a hoverboard if you wanted to make it in the rap game. And so if you continue on here, there's one detail that I'm really excited about, which is that he spent more than $300,000 on Fiverr. $300,000. I've always kind of wondered exactly how much people were paying for the fake shit, but this is where it actually gets into these statistics, which I never really understood. This is actually a lot more than I kind of thought. Arrington spent $70,000 with a single company to boost his rap industry profile. He spent $1,119 per 100,000 YouTube views. So think about that. That means that if he wants to fake 1 million views, and clearly there are people out there who are faking 1 million views, that this guy had to spend like basically almost $12,000 to fake 1 million views. That seems like so much. You know, I told a little story earlier, if you guys caught it, about how I, back in the day, I experimented and I bought like 5,000 views for an old BMX video that I like just wanted to see what would happen if I bought views for it. I'm pretty sure that at the time I spent like $5 for like 5,000 views. So this is a new thing. I guess views cost a lot more now. I'm guessing that the reason why it's so expensive is because these are like high quality views that you can't just, you know, get rid of these views, because sometimes you'll notice views on videos getting deleted quickly. Like sometimes I'll see a video from a rapper and it'll have 20,000 views, and then somebody will donate for me to watch it again a couple weeks later, no more views. And I'm just like, I always think in my head, I'm like, am I remembering this correctly? Or did he just lose a shitload of views? I think that what happens is that YouTube has actually gotten really good at detecting when you are buying fake views. So they're really good at like auditing that system on a consistent basis and like getting rid of those fake views that you buy. But then look at this too. I know there's people out there buying fake followers. Are you guys spending $1,499 for 15,000 Instagram followers? I can't imagine that that's what most people are paying, because I see people all the time that I have to assume have 15,000 or more fake Instagram followers, and there is no way that they're actually spending $1,500 on it. And the Spotify thing is kind of weird too, because $2,000 for 250,000 Spotify streams. Aren't the Spotify streams hidden? Can you like not view that? I'm pretty sure. Like that's what I was under the assumption, is that you can't even view how many plays something has on Spotify. Although I suppose that there will be some sort of trade-off here, because if your song has plays, even if they're not visible to you, then maybe it could help with playlisting or something like that. I mean, this dude basically was just like the biggest fucking scammer ever. $4 million worth of shit scammed. And it makes me wonder too, like when I look at his Instagram. Well, okay, actually this is his rapper Instagram, which I was checking out earlier. Chad Focus. So this is the rapper Instagram. And I'm not gonna like look too hard into this, but if you look, there's also, that one has like 13K, but then look, this is the real one. Oh God. Why does my search engine keep switching back to Yahoo? It's really upsetting. This is his real account, which has 187K.
Let's get it, shouting. What's good, my boy? Is Josh. My boy Josh in here. What's goody, my boy? Try to get this shit going. Alright, I'll get this shit acting stupid. Bitch. Bitch, you go to the home straight.
Listen, spiritual soul in the building, vegan soul in the building, Dewey soul in the building,
I don't know what I done.
In the building.
What's good, my boy Kentrail in here? My boy Kentrail in here. I'm trying to get this shit right. I don't know what the fuck going on. My Xbox is on ass stupid.
In the building, Balenci soul in the building.
What's good with the Kentrail? Hit that like button. See your name on the bottom left in the red, bro. Hit that like button, Josh. See your bottom left. See your name in the bottom left. I grew up playing PlayStation. I don't get Xbox controllers. And you know that they made a controller that's cross-platform, so you can play with that controller on Xbox and PlayStation, bro. That's pretty dope. They did that. Well, I'm trying to figure out why the fuck my game acting crazy. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna have to fucking start this game over. But we're gonna stay on this shit. We're gonna reset this bitch. Shall I reset it? Yeah, I'm gonna reset it. I'm gonna reset it. I'm gonna just turn it on. Sorry about that, y'all. We had a little problem with the little Xbox. I don't know what the hell going on with it, but we about to get this shit right. We're gonna hop off in that goddamn that Call of Duty world. Kentrail, I know you on Xbox, but I know you ain't out here playing PlayStation. I know you on Xbox. Got to be. Got to be.